Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishna. Here basically we are discussing one of the topic that is future creation basically. So one of the person told that basically, Sunil, are you there in future basically? Then Sunil Arna thought basically a little bit basically. What actually he is asking here basically? Sunil, are you there in future basically? What actually means basically? One of the software company person told that basically, Sunil, are you in software future basically? Then basically Sunil Arna was actually thought little bit actually what actually he is asking basically. So then basically this story is basically for that group only basically who basically told that basically Sunil, are you there in future of the software company basically? So see basically the story. So one of the person told that basically that few things basically you can't disclose basically. For example, one of the person told that Apple equal to what basically? Apple equal to what basically? Then one of the person told that Apple equal to this whole thing basically. All disease it contains antibiotic of disease, it contains 100 types of chemicals, it contains basically all the types of nuclear power plants, it contains power supply, it contains text box data, it contains supreme court data. Supreme court data means future supreme court data basically, high court data basically. So this group are going to take the decision basically. Supreme court are basically just going to just tell the result basically. 93 bomb blast has happened basically. So according to the 93 bomb blast, what are the action basically taken by the government? Then basically the September 11 basically incident basically which was happened. For that basically what are the action basically taken? This all thing basically and 100 army basically have basically in India basically. India basically have Indian Army and count basically total types of Indian Army are 100. In that basically three Indian Army basically as in that basically five Indian Army basically ended. Five Indian Army basically ended. Five Indian Army group basically ended due to some war basically happened. In that basically ended basically. So this all thing basically are into Apple basically. So one of the person told that yeah basically Apple है कि क्या है? Then basically it was that yes basically each and everything basically contains in one apple basically. So you can just imagine basically the things creation basically. And this everything is done basically. That is the main thing basically. So one of the person told that this whole thing basically contains this. Then basically he told that basically list of mountains basically that is Mount Everest and Himalaya mountain basically with there basically the plane basically which is getting crashed. In that plane crash basically the people basically are dying basically. So that is basically how much? That is the 3,000 people basically. So just a minute. 3,500 we will take. 3,500 multiplied by 1,000. So see basically it's not possible I think. 35 how much it is? See basically 3,500, 35,000, 3 lakh 35,000, 3 lakh 50,000, 35 lakh people basically are dying. 35 lakh people basically are dying. It's not possible I think basically. So there might be some basically few people told that basically in few plane basically 3,500 people basically might not be there also basically. So minimum basically the people basically dying daily basically might be minimum basically 10 lakh people basically might be dying minimum basically. So one of the person told that the population basically is 900 crore basically. If 10 lakh people basically is dying daily basically, then what is the population basically? Then he told that basically that might be possible basically because in this world basically there are basically more than 1 crore human clone basically getting created daily basically. Daily 1 crore human clone basically might be getting created. So if you are creating daily 1 crore, then basically 10, 35, 40 lakh basically is not a big amount basically. Sorry, not amount basically, big number basically. And this basically, it's basically getting circulated basically. 1 crore created, 35 lakh died, 1 crore created. Like this basically the circle is basically ongoing basically. The circle basically is ongoing basically. So one of the person told that yes basically. So in this basically we have discussed up to this level basically. Then basically the few people told that basically we can't display basically in the medicine basically, we can't write that basically. Bin Laden plane crash, 93 bomb blast vitamin, 93 bomb blast medicine, then the this date basically this plane basically was crashed and basically that medicine take, then basically you take the that medicine, this medicine, basically each and every incident basically you can't disclose basically. Babri Masjid basically was finished, and then basically the Ram Masjid basically came, Ram Mandir basically came, that medicine also take basically, that basically Babri Masjid was ended basically, and instead of that basically the Ram Mandir was kept. So you take that also basically. Then one of the person told that this type of thing basically you can't write in the medicine basically. So one of the person told that basically how this basically is segregated basically. How this basically got segregated. That basically is vitamin A. All vitamins C, D. In this basically how many blasts are going to happen. How many blast has happened. This is basically future data. So how many blast is going to happen basically. So this has converted into business basically. This has converted into business basically. One person told that basically he gets 5,000 crore basically for one bomb blast basically. So that basically he will basically create the situation basically that bomb blast is going to happen basically, and he basically will be getting again 5,000 crore basically. So this has converted into business basically, purely business basically. The bomb blast, everything basically converted into business, and 35 lakh people basically dying, that also converted into business, because the plane basically are getting new production basically, and plane business basically are getting basically. So that is also converted into the business. So human clone is the biggest business basically. That is the American government basically. They are basically producing the human clones with the help of the software. So it's a software business. One of the person told that basically. Literally basically this is the real basically. That America basically, how America is surviving basically. How basically American government basically is surviving basically. Surviving means you can say how basically they are having the entire America basically in good standard basically. It's a high tech security, high tech people basically are staying, high tech people basically are having the income basically. How basically they are having basically. So one of the person told that basically daily basically they are producing 1 crore human clone. One human clone basically contains, see basically the income you see basically. 1 crore 1 crore is the human clone creation, and one human clone basically contains how much basically, at least basically we will take minimum amount basically, that is 1.2 crore basically. So see the amount basically, we basically can't calculate also basically. It's more than 12,000 crore basically you can say. So 12,000 crore basically, 12,000, more than 12,000 crore basically, or 1200, 12,000 whatever basically. So minimum basically is 12,000 crore basically. Then it told that yes, 12,000 crore means you can just imagine one day income basically. 12,000 crore, you can just imagine basically 12,000 crore means 12,000 and 12,000 crore multiply by 31. So see basically income you see basically. It's more than basically you can say 3,50,000 crore. 3,50,000 crore is the income of monthly of America. So in next video basically we are going to see a little bit more about this.